I can see now. Vishakha pulled at Priya's sleeve again. Are reply me no. Whose message is it? Where are you lost? Huh? No one in particular. Hey, you finish your burger, yaar. Then we will leave. Radha Masi is coming, so I have to reach early. Oh, acha. I'll be as quick as I can. Bas give me 2 minutes. Vishakha understood that Priya was hiding something. The message was certainly from someone special, or perhaps from someone who had disturbed Priya. These were the times when Vishakha longed for vision in her eyes. If only she could see Priya's face once, just once, she would have guessed from her expressions what was wrong. Now she only had Priya's voice to guide her, which of course was enough for Vishakha. Not once in the last 7 years had she missed out in grasping what was going on in Priya's mind. The way Priya spoke or touched her or responded to a situation was enough for Vishakha to guess instantly what her friend was thinking about. Priya dropped off Vishakha and quickly left, leaving behind a slightly confused Vishakha. Next day, Vishakha was waiting in the ladies' room as Priya was in the library, when suddenly Priya's phone rang. Vishakha thought it must be Dadu and hence picked up. But instead of Dadu's voice, it was a young male voice on the other end. Hi Priyu, lecture khatam ho gaya? Kaun? Who is this? Asked Vishakha. But the line went dead. The caller had obviously put down the phone. Who could it be? Vishakha instantly understood that this was the boy who had been messaging and perhaps even calling Priya since the last many days. Maybe the two of them were even meeting up. Was he here in the college right now? Perhaps talking to Priya in the library? Nah, then he wouldn't have called. But then he could be in the premises of the college, waiting to meet Priya. Had Priya really gone to the library or... It suddenly occurred to Vishakha that Priya wasn't very chatty these days and was constantly occupied with her phone. Vishakha couldn't sit still now. She was so angry at Priya. Why did her best friend not tell her about this guy? Priya did not want to introduce her to this guy just because Vishakha didn't have vision in her eyes. Just because she was totally dependent on Priya for almost everything. Vishakha began to grow very restless now and felt as if her body was shivering. Why was Priya taking so much time at the library? Oh, she must be with that boy. Almost impulsively, Vishakha reached for Priya's phone and with her fingers traced the voice button. She instructed it to dial back the last number. The phone rang and was instantly picked up. The same guy, the same voice. Oh, thank God, Priyu, you called. I guess Vishakha had picked up the call. Arey, I know, yaar, you have asked me not to call in the college time. But kya karu, yaar? I was so missing you. Acha, listen, you had told me that you will take Vishakha to the doctor for her checkup. Please, Priyu, can I call you after that? Please? Hello? What happened? Why are you not answering? Arey, okay, Baba. Now I promise not to call in college hours. You won't believe what happened today. But Vishakha slammed down the phone. All her doubts became absolutely clear. Priya, her best friend, had lied to her, betrayed her. Priya didn't even tell her and fell in love with a guy. Vishakha could clearly visualize how Priya would one day slowly break the news. She would tell Vishakha how she had fallen in love with whatever the guy's name was, and would now not be able to help Vishakha in her studies or in escorting her everywhere. More importantly, Priya would now not be there to talk incessantly about the traffic, the classmates with their fashion ki dukaan, the khadus professors, the dirty but beautiful canteen, their endless cups of chai, and the grilled vada pav at the Anand Dosa Center in Ville Parle. Priya won't be there to painstakingly read out all the texts and make audio diaries for Vishakha. She wouldn't be there to stand in queues for depositing Vishakha's fees. Most sadly, Priya won't be there to share the umpteen joys and sorrows that Vishakha had become so used to since the last 7 years. Her already dark world suddenly darkened all the more today. Vishakha's memories took her back 7 years ago. Baba wasn't permitting Vishakha to study beyond the 10th standard, as all the schools in Jawahar city had co-education. But Priya convinced Baba that she will look after Vishakha and not leave her alone. However, once the junior college was over, Baba refused to allow Vishakha to go to Mumbai. The two girls begged and pleaded. Then it was again Priya who suggested that I also shifts to Mumbai so that Vishakha was taken care of. This way, the doors of Mumbai opened for Vishakha to study. Priya would pick up Vishakha every day, escort her for all the lectures, take notes, and even gather reference material from the library. They were famous as the inseparable pair in the college. On some evenings, the two friends would drive down to the Juhu beach. Holding her friend's hand, Priya would carefully negotiate through the crowds, and then they would enjoy the fresh air, a long walk on the beach, and of course the Mumbai street food. Vishakha couldn't remember a single day when Priya had failed to pick her up or escort her to wherever she wanted to go. One glance at Vishakha would tell Priya if anything was wrong with her friend, and one sentence by the latter would tell Vishakha her friend's state of mind. But now everything was going to change. Priya was going to abandon Vishakha. That guy had clearly said, "Please call me after the visit to the doctor is done." Oh, so Priya had been telling him their daily routine too. The fellow also apologized for having called during the college hours, which means he knew where would Priya be at this time. But then why after the visit to the doctor? Had Priya made it clear that she wasn't to be disturbed till then? But why? Because Vishakha would then understand about Priya's affair, right? No, you fool! Because Priya did not want to be disturbed when she was with her friend. Suddenly, an inner voice seemed to speak to Vishakha now. Had Priya ever told Vishakha that she couldn't pick her up, or that she needed to go home without dropping Vishakha? Had she missed out in recording the lectures for Vishakha? Or in escorting her to the doctor's clinic or to the beach? Did Priya ever avoid making the audio diaries for Vishakha? Priya was the closest friend that Vishakha had, her soul mate. Even when friends invited them for late night parties, or when the anthropology class organized a 3-day trip to Lonavala, wasn't it Priya who simply held Vishakha's hand and took her everywhere? So what was wrong if she had fallen in love? Wasn't she entitled to fall in love? Priya had lost her parents when she was just a child, and yet she never sat brooding over that irreparable loss. Always cheerful, affectionate, and with a heart of gold, had she not been the pillar of strength for Vishaka? Vishaka realized that she had reacted so selfishly when she thought that Priya was going to abandon her. As a true friend, it was Vishaka's turn now to hold her friend's hand and take her to her love. Priya came running to the ladies' room. She saw Vishaka sitting with a very strange smile on her face. Kai zala tula? What happened to you? Vishaka handed over Priya's phone to her and said cheerfully, Oi, call him immediately. Poor chap, he's dying to talk to you. I don't have vision, Priya, but I can see now. And Vishaka laughed loudly.